You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your coach Jason.
Your co-host Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. A little NFL, a little college football, Formula One, and what's going on in Milwaukee with the Bucks. But first, Danny, right into the NFL and where, oh boy, those Green Bay Packers beat up on the little Bears, little Cubs. 28-21, Packers prevail. Jordan Love throws for 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 234 yards. Josh Jacobs runs the ball 20 times for 86 yards, a touchdown. Christian Watson, man, just had a great game. 4 receptions, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he's emerging to become the number 1 receiver. And Caleb Williams for the Bears, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a pivotal interception that sealed the game for the Green Bay Packers in the end zone. Danny, this was a great game. I was a little concerned with the Bears, in particular their running game, and they ran the ball pretty well, 138 yards on the ground overall as a team. Just a good game overall, man. Back and forth, especially in the second half. And these teams play each other in 2 weeks. Right now, the Packers are leading the division. Anything can happen, though. There's still a couple of more division games that the Packers have to go through. Same thing with the Chicago Bears. So this interesting game all the way around. Another game to highlight here, Danny. Texans versus the Chiefs, in where the Texans prevail over the Chiefs 20-10. This may seal it for the Chiefs. It doesn't look like they're going to make it into the playoffs at this time. And so to go from the Super Bowl to not making the playoffs. And some are saying that the dynasty is over. I think they'll just go ahead and reload. You got a quarterback in that of Patrick Mahomes who threw 3 interceptions this game, but nonetheless has had a stellar career so far, a Hall of Fame career. I think the Chiefs would go ahead and prevail and basically reload ultimately. So more to come with the Chiefs in the coming years. The big game too, Danny, the Steelers versus the Ravens. An interesting game nonetheless, a game that would determine or help determine the divisional lead, and the Steelers goes into Baltimore and beats up on them 27-22. A lot of pivotal plays that determine the game, but I would just say that Aaron Rodgers commanded the team, 284 yards and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson, man, just had a pedestrian game in my opinion, 219 yards, a touchdown, interception. Derrick Henry close to 100 yards with 94. And so just a whole lot happening there, man, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that win may have calmed down the firing chant or the fire chants of Tomlin. And just the same thing, man. I know there were some talks about Matt LaFleur not being the Packers coach and everything. Where did that come from? I don't know. But nonetheless, the Green Bay Packers are leading the NFC North. What say you, Danny, about the NFL?
Jason, one thing on that Texans game and Texans Chiefs, 3 offensive linemen for the Chiefs were out. And I think in the offseason, they got to get that offense. They let a couple of their offensive linemen go. Bears got one of them in Tooney that they need to protect Patrick Mahomes. And then they need a running game. They need a running back because there's no play action that they can, take some of that heat off Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see on that. Then that Ravens game, man, like you mentioned, there was key play, that Isaiah Likely catch, non-catch. I don't even know what a catch is anymore. I'm like, how many steps you got to have down to catch the ball? And that could cost the Ravens the playoffs in
Mm-hmm.
their season ultimately, because that was a huge play because it was at the end of the game, towards the end of the game. I'm just trying to delay the inevitable, Jason. The Atlanta Falcons took this L 37-9 against the Seattle Seahawks, where the game was tied at halftime, 6-6, if you can believe that. And then Rashid Shaheed went ahead and had a 100-yard kickoff return, and then that was that. Sam Darnold ended up with 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, two to JSN. Atlanta, Kirk Cousins, 2 interceptions. It's just, this ain't it. So I, I had a bad feeling about the game, but they actually showed some heart in that first half. And then the second half, there was nothing to show for it. So we have a game against the Buccaneers on Thursday night uh, to play for pride, but it's very disappointing knowing that the Buccaneers lost again this week to the Saints. So the
Mm-hmm.
division was ripe for the taking. I say
Mm-hmm.
this every week, and they just blew it. So they're out of the playoffs officially now. So it's just like I said, playing for pride and see what happens with Raheem and the staff after this, and even GM Fontenot. So that has to be evaluated as well. And then a couple other games here. Shadur Sanders and the Browns had a good game against the Titans. Who would have thunk that?
Mm-hmm.
Based on the teams coming in, but Cam Ward and Shador, had good games. I didn't see the Titans putting up that amount of points on the Browns defense, but they did. Myles Garrett did get another sack, so he's closing in on straight hands record. So he has 4 games left to see if he can get this record. Uh, and then the last thing, Jay, is Daniel Jones, man, for the Colts. So the Colts were looking like Super Bowl contenders a couple weeks ago. Now Daniel Jones is out for the year. And he was playing on a broken leg for one, which I thought they should have sat him
Mm-hmm.
knowing that. But now he was ruled out for the season. And we'll see what happens with the Colts because right now they're not in the playoffs. So a lot's going to happen these next couple weeks. Got a lot of divisional games, like you mentioned, with the Packers and Bears coming up. Packers play the Broncos next week. Big game. Rams play the Lions. So it's be another great weekend of football.
And this, as we're saying, another great weekend of football. That of the college teams played and the conference championship games, and man, just a lot of interesting games. But more importantly, the filling out of the college football playoff bracket. A lot of controversy surrounding this bracket. But first, the Big Ten game, championship game between that of the Indiana Hoosiers and Ohio State Buckeyes, and where Indiana Hoosiers prevail 13-10 and gets the number one overall seed, number one overall ranking. And just who would have thought Indiana
Mm-hmm.
will be ranked number one? Goes to show you that if plan properly, execute the plan, and get the right pieces and the right players involved, man, anything's possible. So Indiana was the number one overall ranking, and they await basically the winner of the Alabama Oklahoma game, and a lot of controversy surrounding Alabama. Should Alabama have made the college playoff bracket, even with a huge loss to the Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC championship game? And so some controversy around there, or around the Alabama Crimson Tide, controversy around the Miami Hurricanes making it. Uh, just as I said that Ohio State lost, they await the winner of the Miami Texas A&M game in the bracket, and there's some controversy surrounding Miami being in there. James Madison playing Oregon. James Madison wins the championship. Do you keep James Madison in? They're champions, but are they better than Notre Dame? Same thing with Tulane. Tulane makes it in. They won a championship. Should it be there? I think, just as we said, having the top 4 teams in the playoff system would fix things. It seemed like having 12 doesn't fix things, man. What is really going on, man? Are we just going to keep going through this? I mean, where now we need to expand this out to 16? Are you kidding me? When
Mm-hmm.
does it stop with the number of teams? And yeah, it's about the money. What say you, Danny, about college football?
Yeah, Jay, man, the Miami Notre Dame thing, where Notre Dame was ranked ahead of Miami. So there's just a lot that needs to be explained and evaluated again over the offseason. And Notre Dame has a big voice, right? And they are independent. So those of you who do not know, they rejected the bowl bid where they would have played BYU in the Pop Tart Bowl. So they're like, well, why even play? But in that case, too, man, sometimes they lose sight of the players. There's going to be players that are seniors that may not have another game. I know they have some star players, which they could sit, but at least give the kids an opportunity. But I don't think they want to have a blemish, right? Because they're trying
Hmm.
to make the case of why we should be there. So
Hmm.
I think this is going to be evaluated again in the offseason. The 16, and do they go to 24? But like you said, where does it stop? There's a sweet spot, but Notre Dame is the odd man out in this case, and we'll see. I'm looking forward to some of these matchups. The second round, I would say, not necessarily the first round,
Hmm.
because if you look at the point spreads, like James Madison, it would be cool to see James Madison play Oregon because I haven't watched James Madison at all. Truth be told,
Hmm.
and then Ole Miss could run up against Georgia, and with all the stuff with Lane Kiffin, uh, do they make it through the first round? They should against Tulane. But is there any residual effect from Lane
Anything
Kiffin
can
leaving
happen.
if they come out flat or anything like that? So looking forward to the games. They'll be starting soon, next week or so. So they got a lot to do, man. They got to figure some of this stuff out. And I think they're just missing somebody to be like the lead on this. It's kind of like a free for all right now.
Danny, just as we talk about the weekend, Formula One comes to an end for the 2025 season, and this went down to the wire. The championship went down to the very last race in Abu Dhabi. Lando Norris is your 2025 Formula One champion by only 2 points ahead of Max Verstappen. 2 points. Third place is Oscar Piastri, who was only 11 points behind Max Verstappen. 20, 13 points behind Lando Norris. You can't tell me that every race, every sprint race doesn't count. 2 points, man, serves him right. But I gotta give credit where credit is due. The second half of the season, Max Verstappen and Red Bull was coming on, man.
Yep.
The first half of the season, it just looked like Lando and Oscar, especially Oscar, was just going to run away with this thing, and that there was not even going to be any competition. In the second half, Red Bull and Max Verstappen really kind of, stepped up. So kudos to them. This is the last time that we'll see 20 drivers uh, on the grid. Next year, you'll see 22, some new teams on the grid as well. And so this is going to be all fun, especially with new design cars. Um, no more DRS, drag reduction systems, where the rear flap opens up for additional 15, 20 miles per hour to speed past your opponent there. If you're within a second behind, no more of that. So this is going to be really interesting to see how 2026 shapes up. Unfortunately, Sir Lewis Hamilton didn't fare as well. Especially he didn't advance in the qualifying rounds. But he did start. I want to say he started 16th and ended up number 8 or 7.
Mhm.
And so he made a final push there. But man, just honestly a disappointing season for Sir Lewis Hamilton. But I think he'll come back. What say you, Danny, about Formula One?
Yeah, congratulations to Lando Norris. And Jason, I just remember back when we were talking about this in the summertime, where McLaren was just dominating, and the way that Max Verstappen put the pressure on them all the way down to the end, like you mentioned. And Lando Norris was battling in this race because any misstep
He
he
was.
had, man, that was it. He would have lost that number one spot. So he battled, and Abu Dhabi was cool, man, because you got the it starts in light and then it turns to dark, so it's a
Hmm.
different type
Hmm.
of race if you're watching
Hmm.
it. So different elements going on with with the sun and not having the sun. But it was a great race. Max Verstappen dominated the race, and yeah, man, Norris. I'm glad. Yeah, I didn't want to see him slip up at the end, man, because
Yeah.
he was battling, and then he pulled ahead of Leclerc and did what he had to do. But great season, and as you mentioned, Sir Lewis Hamilton. What does the off season bring for him? And if there's any changes, whatever the case may be, something to keep an eye out for. So
Hmm.
great season. Congratulations to McLaren for having a great season. Kind of coming out of nowhere based on how they dominated and waited for Lando to close it out.
And Danny, one other topic, Giannis. Giannis gets injured again. He's out for a period of time, 2 to 4 weeks. I'll say this, man. I don't know if this is the last time we've seen Giannis in a Bucks uniform, but with the way the Bucks are, their record right now is doesn't warrant Giannis, in my opinion, to play for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to just, go ahead and cut bait for both parties. Listen, man, Giannis has been with us for 13 years. We've seen him, grow from a boy into a man. We've seen him year after year get stronger. He's agile. We hadn't at the time seen anything like that, and we got a championship out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold no ill will towards Giannis. I mean, he built their district. He built Fiserv, the house that Giannis built. This Fiserv Forum, the Deer District. So uh, it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like, moving forward. But the Bucks front office has a lot of work to do. Horst has a lot of work to do, and I don't know what kind of haul we're going to get by trading Giannis in terms of draft picks
Yeah.
that we can use immediately. Not
Mm-hmm.
no future picks. We need some stuff that can be done and used right now, at least this year. So there are rumors about New York. I don't think it's New York. I think it's going to be one of the Texas teams. More so, I believe it's going to be San Antonio. Is Giannis a good fit in San Antonio with Wemby? I don't know. I think Giannis going to have to change his game a little bit. I don't think he needs the ball as much. He can play off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you need the right coach who can coach him into that. What say you, Danny, about Giannis?
The news kind of got some fire last week, and the Bucks were playing the Pistons, and then Giannis gets hurt, like you mentioned. 2 to 4 weeks is what's being reported. I the Bucks are in a tough spot, man. They're in a tough spot, and I know Doc Rivers is trying to deflect as much as he can, on this situation. But like you said, if they're gonna do it, this is the time to do it. But with this calf injury, like we mentioned before at the last one, you just hope it's nothing more serious than that, because that would definitely impact
Mm-hmm.
the trade
Mm-hmm.
package, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of teams that may be interested, but there are only a few that I think can offer the Bucks actually anything close to what the value would be for
Mm-hmm.
Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't honestly, I don't see anything that would be equivalent at this point. It's going to be tough for teams to match that, and it's going to depend on the Bucks. If they do get first round picks, How are you developing them? How are you picking? Are you going to hit on the picks? Because it's a crapshoot in the lottery. So it all depends on the picks and where they would be picking from. so on and so forth. So I am not sure yet, man. I'm not 100% sure that if he'll be traded or not. I do see your point because why they're 10-15 right now, and it's the season's kind of going by the wayside in a hurry. So if you can get somebody in there, and then you can kind of start melding that group together, and you got a lot of time even before All-Star break. So we'll see, man. I just hope he has a speedy recovery, and then, like you said, if he does get traded, there's no ill will there because he's exceeded expectations beyond belief in his time here. So we'll see what happens, man. And then I'll see if they do trade him, what's the impact at the Fiserv and ticket sales and all that. So that's where it comes down to who they bring back in.
Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.